starting things off with a bit of a twist to an all-time fave, kind of folly Thanksgiving-y potato side dish. We are making my French onion scalloped potatoes. I am very excited. This dish is a total scene stealer, so if you really want your turkey to shine, don't make this, because they're gonna steal the show on the table. So the first thing I wanna get to work on is those French onions. And French onions are essentially caramelized onions with a little bit of like Frenchy flavor in there. So I'm very excited about that. So I've got a pan here over about medium heat. Now into there, I'm gonna go in with 2 tablespoons of butter, because they are French onions. So obviously, right? You're not throwing olive oil in here, you're going straight up butter. Yes. Oh, we got butter fans in the audience. I'm feeling good about this. Yes. All right, so I've got that butter in there and it is melting down. Now I'm gonna add in my onions. I am using just classic yellow cooking onions. Those are my favorite ones to caramelize because they've got a good amount of sugar in them, but they maintain that delicious oniony flavor in there. So I've got 4 here that I've sliced up nice and thin. And I'm just gonna add those right on into that butter. Now this right now looks like a mountain of onions, but they will cook down. A ton of that water will cook out, the sugars will develop and get brown and beautiful. But to help get some of that water out of there, to start, I'm gonna add on a little bit of some kosher salt. Salt at this point, yes, seasons the food a little bit, but what it really is doing at this point is it's actually pulling some of that moisture out of those onions. So it helps them actually cook down and caramelize quicker and better, so that's perfect. Now into there, I'm going in with some pepper, just for flavor, obviously. That's perfect. And then to give these like the air of France, maybe like we're going down to Provence just for fun, for Thanksgiving, I'm going in with herb de Provence. Now, herb de Provence is an herb blend. It's got thyme, it's got rosemary. There's weirdly a little bit of lavender in there usually, which doesn't make it taste like soap. It tastes really good, but it's one of my favorite herb blends. I pretty much always have it on hand. So I'm going in with about 1½ teaspoons of that, right on into that pan. And as these onions cook down, that's gonna get beautiful. You can smell the herb de Provence as soon as it hits that heat. Smelling absolutely amazing. So those are gonna cook down and get beautiful. I wanna cook those over about medium-low heat for about like 25 minutes. You want these to cook nice and slow because this mountain of onions turns into this tiny little pile of delicious caramelized onions. Like they are golden brown. They're almost a little bit jammy at this point, which is exactly what you're looking for. Now, if you were to use these as is right now, this will be delicious. No one's gonna be complaining. But since these are French onions, I'm gonna throw a little bit of brandy in there just for fun. This is honestly one of my favorite things to add anytime I'm making French onion soup or anything like that. It just makes it taste really nice and round and beautiful. If you didn't have brandy or didn't want to use it, a little bit of white wine would work, or you could just leave the onions as is. So I'm going in with about 2 tablespoons. For any of those cocktail heads out there, that's 1 ounce. And that's just gonna deglaze that pan and bring everything kind of up and in. It smells out of control. Like that little bit of brandy just brings a depth to these onions that they wouldn't have without it. So that's just gonna continue cooking down, just to cook off that alcohol content. But those onions, pretty much done. Very, very excited. Those on a grilled cheese sandwich, get out of here. But in scalloped potatoes, mwah, chef's kiss. So, so good. So those are doing their thing, but now we have to talk about that cream mixture that gets to work on those potatoes. So when you're making a scalloped potato, they're obviously potatoes thinly sliced, cooked in a beautiful creamy mixture. Now, oftentimes recipes will call for a roux and milk to hold those 2 things together. Because I don't know about you, but have you ever made scalloped potatoes and then you end up with that like split, curdled situation? We don't want that. Now, the best insurance policy for that is a little bit of fat. I know, but I'm using whipping cream in these potatoes. And I'm using, get ready, hold on to your socks, 2½ cups of whipping cream. Listen, it's the season. I'm feeling really good about it. If you wanted to go with a lighter fat percentage cream, it would still work, but it might split. You might end up with that slightly curdled situation, which is not what I'm hoping for. So I'm just going straight in with whipping cream, looking beautiful. So at 2½ cups goes into there. Now to flavor that up, I'm gonna go in with some garlic and onion. So I've got 4 cloves of garlic here, and those are whole cloves. I'm not chopping them because I want this to be a nice soft garlic flavor. So I'm tossing those right on into that cream, as well as a diced up yellow onion. I just diced that one up nice and fine because we want that onion flavor getting in everywhere. Now to season that, I'm going in with a bit more herb de Provence, about 1 teaspoon this time, just to carry that flavor through to those potatoes. Season that with a little bit of salt and pepper. That's gonna be absolutely beautiful. And then for that pure French kick, we're traveling all over France. We're in Provence, and now we're gonna go to Dijon. So I'm gonna use a little bit of mustard in here, because that brings like almost a little bit of acidity into this mix. So just about 2 teaspoons of mustard. Dijon mustard is perfect. If you wanted to do grainy, feel free. I'm just going with smooth, because it's gonna really mix in beautifully with that cream mixture. So that's about 2 teaspoons right on in there. And is that everything she needs? Oh no, I also need some nutmeg, so. I got my nutmeg. If you don't keep your nutmeg in your pocket, that's okay. It probably says better things about you than it does about me. But honestly, it's delicious. Nutmeg in cream sauces, especially with potatoes or anything like that, doesn't taste sweet. It doesn't taste like a donut shop. It just tastes beautiful and warm and a little bit lemony. So that's looking great. At this point, I would bring that up to a simmer and let that go for about 15 minutes. Basically, you want to cook that until all those veg, that garlic and onion, is super duper tender. Once that's done, it looks something like this, delicious, creamy, savory cream sauce. Now I'm gonna blitz this up. If you wanna do this in like a smoothie blender, feel free. Regular blender, I'm going with an immersion blender though, because it's easier on the dishes. So just give that a good blitz. Just to puree all that garlic, all those onions. Clearly I'm making a mess, but that's okay. What is Thanksgiving without a little bit of mess? All right, get that nice and beautiful and creamy. Honestly, this on anything would be absolutely out of control. In fact, I'm gonna give it a little taste through. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Stir some pasta into that with those caramelized onions. There you go. That's another sneaky recipe just for this live episode. I love it. All right, now everything is looking great over here. Now I'm gonna go talk potatoes. I'm gonna bring my onions over because they are done. All that brandy's cooked off, so it's just left with that beautiful flavor. But for my potatoes, I am using russets. Now you wanna use about 1.75 kilos, or about 2 kilos of those russet potatoes. I've peeled them up, and then you wanna thinly slice them. Now if you are a daredevil, feel free to use a mandolin. I one time got in a fight with a mandolin. I did not win. So be very careful. If you are using a mandolin, feel free, please use the guard or some sort of protective glove. You can also use a knife if you really want to work on your skills, but I'm going with a food processor. So my food processor comes with this attachment that you just take that blade out, pop this on, and this is actually a slicing attachment. Makes quick work of anything. So I'm just gonna pop the lid on, grab my potato, you pop it in the top, and then you just, oh, she gotta be on first. Shoot it through. Done. That was an onion or a potato sliced. Go in with a couple more. Let's see if we can get these guys down. Right, it's too tall. That is the quickest work of a potato cut that I've ever seen. So I'm feeling really good about this. We've got those thinly sliced, beautiful potatoes here that are looking absolutely amazing, as quick as you could blink, which is a dream. Now I've got a casserole dish here. This is about a 3-liter casserole dish. Any size, any shape you're looking for is perfect. I've buttered mine, obviously, with some butter. Feeling very good about it. So now we're gonna start layering everything in. So I've got these beautiful russet potatoes that I've sliced up nice and thin, and I'm just gonna layer in, kind of almost shingling them along the bottom. Now, if you've got some that kind of turned on their side and went a little long, no one's gonna be mad. Once they get those little scoop of scalloped potatoes, everyone's gonna be like, oh my gosh, get that turkey out of here. I'm just gonna look at these potatoes. Which honestly, in my books about Thanksgiving, I'm all about the sides. That's pretty much all I wanna eat. Yes, the turkey's the showstopper, it's the centerpiece, but like, come on, it's the gravy, it's the potatoes. All right, so just shingle those right on in. You wanna just have a good kind of base along the bottom. At this point, you don't have to be too particular. If you wanna be a little messy and just kind of chuck them in, feel free. You just want a nice thin layer. Then I'm gonna go on with some of those beautiful caramelized French onions that are so, so nice. Creamy, a little jammy. So you just wanna sparingly spread those over, because almost like we're making a lasagna here, we're gonna keep on layering. Now, I love a scalloped potato so much, but they're a lot of work. But using that food processor attachment, if you've got it, quickest work in the world. Now, I've got all of those layers of those potatoes and those onions hanging out in this pan. So now I'm gonna pour over that amazing cream sauce that we have going on over here. Now, for anyone just tuning in, this is 2.5 cups cream, whipping cream. We're going big today, and I'm feeling very good about it. We've got some Dijon mustard in there, a little bit of herb de Provence, and then there's also garlic and onion that we just pureed in. It tastes so good. Honestly, I cannot deal with how delicious this is. Put that on the table, hunks of bread, little bit of a dip. What a delight. I'm full. full of recipes today, I'm not gonna lie. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pour this beautiful mixture right over all of these potatoes and that French onion. I know. Are you kidding me? Like, you would think that this is a thickened sauce, like almost like a roux thickened sauce, but that is just cream. And as it bakes, this cream mixture is just going to melt down through those potatoes. It is going to be a total showstopper. I'm feeling really, really pumped about it. But now what I want to do to make sure that these potatoes cook through, because this is the hardest thing about a scalloped potato, is making sure the center of this giant, very dense casserole gets cooked. So I'm gonna trap some of the steam in there. So for that, I'm just gonna use a little bit of aluminum foil, give it a tear, and then I'm gonna go on to the top. Now, if you want, you could spray this with a little bit of nonstick cooking spray. I usually go with the dull side because it's a little bit less sticky than the shiny side. So I'm just gonna go dull side down, pop that on, trap all of that steam right in there. And then this little number needs to go into a 325-degree oven for an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. It takes a good long time, but patience is a virtue, and you get delicious potatoes when you're done. So pop those in, let those go again for about that hour, hour and 15. Once those are done at that point, you can take them out of the oven if you wanna make these today. Put them on the counter, let them hang out, get nice and room temperature, and then just pop them in the fridge. They'll last in your fridge for, I'd say 2 days, but really closer to like 4 would be totally fine. If you wanted to, I would take them out of the fridge if you did that, let them come up to room temperature for about an hour, and then pop them in for like maybe 20 to 30. No matter what you're doing, we gotta add cheese, am I right? Yeah. Okay, so once that's done, take that foil off and add on some Gruyere and Parmesan. Since we're doing French onion, I went with the Gruyere and Parmesan mix. Parmesan, very Italian, not very, French, but really tasty. If you want to do this more classic, a little bit of cheese, cheddar cheese on there. What a delight. Broil those for about 5 minutes until they are a little bit golden brown on top, and it smells like French onion soup in your house. French onion soup with potatoes, what could be wrong with that? I mean, look at this absolute stunner of a potato dish. I know. I feel honestly so excited about this. Now, we do have that herb de Provence in there, which has a ton of different herbs. It's a great herb blend. There is some thyme in there. So I've got some thyme still hanging out. This is one of those kind of woodier herbs that your kind of herb garden will still be sprouting up for the next like month or two. So just grab a little bit of fresh thyme and scatter that all over the top because you need green. I mean, Thanksgiving is all about brown food, but a little bit of green never hurt anybody. You can pretend that's a vegetable and you're feeling good. I love thyme, and when I pull the thyme off of its sprig, basically you just wanna run your fingers along. So grab it, pinch it, and then just run it on up. Anywhere it snaps, that's usually gonna be a more tender part of that sprig, but that looks beautiful. I'm going on with a little bit more nutmeg, because you can't stop me. Again, that creamy dreaminess. This smells absolutely out of control. Now, the hardest thing about this recipe is letting it sit. Like any good casserole, this is lava. This is the hottest thing since, I don't know, Vesuvius. It's very, very hot. So let it sit for a good long time. It will stay hot for a good long time, but I simply can't resist. So I'm gonna dig in. Let's see how this goes, okay. Oh, that cream. Oh, that potato. Okay. Woo! Wait, she's gotta get in there. I got crunchy potato. Oh boy, here we go. She's making a mess. Let's do it. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh. French onion, potato. It's hot, and it is delicious. Listen, you gotta try this one this Thanksgiving. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.